The Daily Wire and Brett Cooper's situation took an interesting turn wherein alleged whistleblower came out and put some stuff on Reddit that has since been deleted. So I'm not even sure if we're allowed to talk about this. But the fact that it got deleted from Reddit, to me, confirms its validity.
I mean, that's
right?
I guess. I mean, that's
if
a
it was
bit of a
fake and
stretch.
nonsense,
maybe it was
they probably
so
wouldn't have
fake
came
that
with
they're
a
like,
takedown
what are you
notice.
doing? They just took it
I don't
down.
know. But
Okay.
there's been a couple creators that have talked about this. The backstory, Brett Cooper, he's been a Daily Wire.
Yep.
No one knew who Brett Cooper was. Sounds Daily Wire has what, the second, third biggest channel on Daily Wire, only behind Ben and Jordan Peterson.
Yep.
Explodes. She, I think, is up for renegotiation and ends up parting ways with Daily Wire. Punchline is that her best friend slash bridesmaid slash producer takes over her show. In that, people said she got acting lessons to act like Brett, to copy her mannerisms. Other folks have said that she backstabbed her. Reagan is her name. Her cousin has came out and said none of that's true. She didn't get acting lessons. Brett made it impossible for her to transition because Brett said, I want you to come with me, but didn't have the funds to pay her what she was making at Daily Wire, and she wouldn't be able to work for a couple months. Daily Wire was like, yo, you could be the camera, you could be in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. So it's a complicated, messy situation, but it peeks into like this idea of conservative media. It kind of ties into some of the stuff that Crowder called them out for years about for these contracts. Also shows a lack of flexibility, perhaps on the Daily Wire part, because it didn't seem like she wanted to leave as much as she just wanted more creative control and didn't want to drive into the city to work at, their offices.
That's what you're speculating.
That's what I'm speculating. That it's probably not very deep, but they just presented an opportunity to her friend, and her friend knew the content well enough, worked on the content, produced the content, probably wrote some of the content, that it was a no-brainer for her to step in. And they're very similar and they're close. And most of us who are close to people probably kind of emulate some of their mannerisms and whatever. So this was done by Zook Davis. That's who put this together. And again, I tried to go and find the original. It's down from Reddit. I don't know what that means. Okay, posting is here. As I just posted, long comment in a different thread, if a mod would like to reach out to me to confirm. So this guy says, I know Brett, he works for Daily Wire. He's willing to provide evidence. The public has no idea how much of a dumpster fire that company is, and that's largely due to their insane contracts, which put the fear of the God King, Jeremy Boring, which I still don't understand the point of that. Like, is he saying that he follows God and he's his own king? I don't get the name, the God King. Like, and who
I
gave
thought it
him
was
that
like a
nickname?
joke because he's like a short white guy and he like looks very unassuming. And I thought it was a joke for like a skit, but then it's like around and they use it all the time. So I'm like,
super weird. I'd have to know the backstory. I don't like that nickname personally because it just sounds weird. But
blasphemous.
Yeah, it kind of sounds blasphemous. Brett did not leave because of Ben Shapiro. She also was not fired over anything to do with Israel, and her leaving had nothing to do with Candace Owens. So they dispelled that. That was being propagated by some people. Reading all of these rumors is frustrating. It is true that Brett wanted to leave for very good reasons, emphasis on very good. It was not about money, but management. Her best friend, in quotations, Reagan, encouraged her to leave and supported her, as her cousin accurately states. She was so supportive
and encouraging
that she finally planned to leave with her. So they're making it sound like Reagan was
egging her on a little bit,
low key,
and was like, "We should bounce.
We'll be rich."
Yeah,
right. That's about all her cousin gets right. Yes, Brett offered to pay her what she could reasonably afford, but it is such a lie to imply Brett did not want to pay her for months. The truth is that Daily Wire has insane non-competes for every single employee there. Take your time to read through Glassdoor reviews for the company stretching back years. So he's kind of pooping on these folks. Right? But Glassdoor, if you guys don't know, that's like a review for a job. If you want to go look at a job, you can go read Glass reviews about them and how good or not good they are to work for. Long story short, Brett...
he said, management is monstrous.
Oof.
Long story short. There you go.
Long story short, Brett and Reagan were going to start her new show when it was legally allowed. That's the question. How long was that going to take?
Yeah.
Reagan was Brett's hype woman in all of this planning. Jeremy has a God complex, and I'm so tempted to publish the email he sent around to the company regarding Brett, which proves that. He believes he creates talent and makes them famous, and he can do this with anyone. That's gross.
It sounds accurate a little bit too.
Low key.
Like it sounds accurate to the archetype of person, right? Like you built this big thing. He originally was supposed to be the talent. Then Ben Shapiro blew up. I'm like, maybe you be the talent. Then he becomes like the CEO behind the scenes, and you grow this tiny little thing to this massive monstrous thing. You probably think you got a little bit more finesse than you really do. You don't give enough clout to the people helping you.
I'm excited to bring you guys our very first 3-day conference called the Blessed God Summit, happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Preston Perry.
Me as an evangelist, I've made it up in my mind that I'm not going to leave people with an excuse not to serve Jesus.
Dr. Sean McDowell.
If there's one thing Christians should care about, it's truth.
Our vision with this conference is to equip, empower, and inspire people to do the work of the ministry that God has for them in this time. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Alan Parr and his wife, Jim Parr.
The number one reason, people want to get divorced because they want to find someone else who can make them happy. Now, what they don't realize, they're chasing the wind.
John McCrae from What Do You Mean?
What you may be shocked, or you may not be shocked to know, is that the majority of Christians in America, they don't know how to articulate the message of the gospel to non-believers.
Lila Rose.
Love and marriage go together, that sex and marriage go together, that sex can bring life into the world, and that's an amazing thing, that's not a bad thing.
Trizzle Fitness.
Most people fail at dieting because they're just trying to lose weight too fast. What are you in such a rush for?
But where a lot of people get stuck is figuring out what it looks like to walk in that. And so these 3 pillars of our conference will be covering everything from apologetics to family in the home and the marketplace, and how you can lean into those 3 pillars to discover your calling on this side of eternity. Shout out to Thaddeus. He just educated us. He said, ancient rulers were considered god kings as they were both gods and were chosen by the gods unless they mean God emperor, which is from Dune books. Yeah. It's just a weird title to have as a Christian, right? Which Jeremy Boring is professed to be for as long as I've known about him. Okay. So he also believes if talent tries to leave or disobey, he can just easily destroy them. One day, Reagan comes to all of us, busting with tears, claiming that Jeremy brought her into the office and told her he wanted her to fill in for Brett. She painted this as though Jeremy was doing this purely to torture Brett, which was believable. Thanks. Reagan was Brett's best friend. Never in a million years did we think she was lying. She claimed she did not want to do it, but that he threatened to fire her. We all felt terribly for her. In retrospect, what she said makes no sense, but why on earth would we think she was a total sociopath lying to us? She told him that she would only do it for 2 weeks. Again, this is really dumb. Reflect on why, because why would she be telling him what she would do or wouldn't do, but we believed her. 2 weeks pass, and then she does a 180. She says she actually loves being in front of the camera and that God wants her to take the opportunity and that Jeremy offered her a contract worth a lot of money and promised he could make her famous.
It's a little, old media, a little bit of puppeteering, puppet master in the background type of situation.
A little bit of God told me card.
A little bit of God told me, a little bit of.
I wonder how she feels about this in hindsight.
Yeah. Did God tell you to tank their number 3 show?
And what does this mean for that channel? And will she ever recover from this?
Hello.
Will she ever recover from this unless she recovers and restores her relationship with Brett? And can she even restore her relationship with Brett?
Do you even want to be the host of the channel after the name is removed from it? It's not like she's getting her name on it.
Yeah.
Because they learned their lesson.
Right.
So it's like she's kind of now she's just a bot.
Yeah. Yeah. Super sad, man. Brett was horrifically backstabbed. That is the truth. It is even more awful when you know the reason why Brett wanted to leave and you realize that Reagan knew those reasons and didn't care because she wanted to be famous. That is the truth, and I really don't care if you guys don't believe me. I needed to get this off my chest. Edit. Just warning everyone that there is an account here that is trying to debunk the claim that I'm lying. Just examine the post history account. It's a friend of Jeremy Boring's who is issuing legal threats to people speaking on this topic. Now, if you fast forward a little bit, you'll see an email he leaked to confirm that this is it.
This one right here?
No, he's just kind of going over the details.
Oh, he's going over bit by bit.
But there is that right there. So we don't need to go over this email. But if you guys see, this is Jeremy Boring basically confirming in an email that it is true that Brett is leaving, and it is true she's not getting fired, but it is true that she's taking over. Reagan is taking over. So we don't know if this is true or not. We don't know if this is a real email, but like the third rumor is that our very own Reagan Conrad is stepping in full-time host of the comment section. That one is true. So this is an email that internally went out to everyone at Daily Wire, allegedly. We don't know. Interesting plot twist in this whole development. I think it is it, right? Click on it and look, this post is deleted. This post is deleted. Not only deleted, but it looks like all the comments are deleted. Mod here, gonna need proof, please. This reads like Brett and Reagan were planning to quit Daily Wire together and launch a new channel together. Then Reagan got offered more money and told she could become famous, so she betrayed Brett. Is that correct? Respectfully, without any evidence, this is as reliable as every other theory everyone's been posting. Proof needed. So people are asking for proof. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe to your point, Zach, maybe it is not verified and that's how they got it taken down.
I did hear from other channels that was a rumor as well. That like Reagan was planning this great escape, and she was encouraging her and then kind of backed out at the last minute when it was already too late for Brett Cooper to get a contract.
Do you think Brett should have knew that Reagan wanted to be in front of the camera as a friend? See, I guess I move different in that, like, I think everybody should be on camera, right? Like, I asked Chris, like, hey, man, like, we should do our book club on Patreon stream, right? And Chris, like, I don't even want to be on camera.
We're super used to that, though, right? Like, we're super, because we've always been like creators. So it's been like you, me, John, Paul Russell, right? Like, and then traveling. And so it was just unspoken. But
So,
yeah,
like, but as a good friend,
yeah, exactly.
like, should you know that your right hand is also a creator and probably wants to be a part of the creative process?
It is weird. Like, I would be curious what Reagan was already doing on her own platforms.
I don't think she's doing anything. I think she's just on Instagram probably.
But her cousin was like, she's been an amazing Republican media influencer on Instagram or whatever. And so, but what I'm saying is that, like, I don't know. It's weird. I think probably, she should know and be encouraged to do her own thing. Maybe it's like golden handcuff situation, you know? I also think, like, good riddance. If I was Brett Cooper on the outside of this, I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad I'm out of Daily Wire because this is how they handle situations.
Here's a macro overview. And again, I'm not trying to be pious, but the macro overview is this a reflection of Christless conservatism?
Oof.
Because if you're driven by the gospel,
Yeah.
is this how you do business? This is the type of deals you do with people.
Yeah.
Do you walk around calling yourself the God King? I'm not trying to be extra harsh on Jeremy. I think what Jeremy's built has been phenomenal.
No, I think it's a great point.
I think that, I agree with him on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But is this how Christians are to move in the marketplace?
I think
I'd be curious. Like, I'd be curious. Like, where is Jeremy? Like, does he serve at his local church?
Mm-hmm.
Does he? I don't know. I'm genuinely curious because everything I've heard from him is he's a solid Christian, but the way he's moved in this doesn't seem the way a solid Christian would move in business.
It sounds like a situation where you can compartmentalize your faith with your work.
That's scary.
And it's like, oh, I'll be, I'm not saying Alex Hormozy is unethical or anything, but I'm saying like the Alex Hormozy, the hyper, what's it called? The hyper programmed and set everything has an intention. Don't make relationships unless it serves you to build your business, that sort of thing. It's like that kind of godless entrepreneurialism. And then if he is a really solid Christian, then it's that like, oh, I do business with a bunch of godless entrepreneurs. And so this is just the regular, this is just business. Business is separate from church. That sort of thing.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't, man. I can't. I don't know. Not to say that I do my very best, but I feel like we go above and beyond to be generous and to take care of people and to make sure that
I'll second that.
Everyone is as happy as they can be while we still got to work.
Hello.
You know what I mean? So anyway, interesting conversation, Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.